So hi everyone. So pleased we can all get together today virtually. I know that this has been tough times for everyone. A lot of people have a lot of personal and professional challenges that have made the last 3 or 4 months incredibly difficult. So your commitment to PSA has just been outstanding, and then we've continued to make tremendous progress in light of these challenging times. So just wanted to give everyone a really big thank you for all of the commitment and effort put into keeping PSA moving while during these challenging times. Today is really meant to be an overview of the project, right? A lot of you are involved in kind of various aspects of the project, but few of you are involved in kind of the entirety of the project, right? And so what we really want to do today is really give you that landscape level view. It's meant to show you how all the parts are advancing, what kind of progress we've made since the Tri-Society, but moreover, how do these parts come together? What is the landscape view of PSA? All right. We've made tremendous progress in the evolutions of our protocols in this past year, particularly, in Common Experiments 1 and 2. These two groups have really gelled and produced a thoughtful integration of regional needs to make important contributions in nutrient and pest management with cover crops. So just really excited about what's going on with CE1 and CE2. The social science team has been made incredible progress as well. That truly immersed in all components of the project. Often the goal of applied sciences start to really integrate across projects, but that's not usually achieved. And the social science team led by Jen are everywhere. So none of you probably have not had some exposure or experience with the social science team. They've just been amazing. As you will see today, the data flow team has been feverishly working in advanced automation of data acquisition, aggregation, analytics, and visualization systems. I would say most of my fighting on a daily basis with Chris is about priority areas, and the priority about data flow always wins because that really is what serves the network. And so just what they've done in the last couple of months has just been tremendous. And so really we give a applaud to the whole data flow team. And what we also give a shout out to Harry and Alondra, who have put us on the best footing yet on having a truly coordinated real-time water sensor network. It will amaze all what we are going to be able to do now with these water sensor networks and how well they are working. The modeling team continues to make steady progress in integration across cover crop decomposition dynamics and how it influences water dynamics, as well as cover crop growth and development modeling. And so that team continues to make progress and just very excited the direction that's going. We've already started beta testing a lot of technology, various different IoT systems for this team. And so you'll hear a lot about that today. And these efforts have really been done to kind of make sure that the whole network hits the ground running. So all that beta testing at individual sites, the purpose of that is so that when this gets into your hands, you've got, I won't say foolproof, a Mirsky-proof protocol and technology that you'll be able to use. All right, on-farm protocols as well as a whole have not changed much, but we've made improved efficiencies on the data engineering side. So these are really, tightening up. There's been, 4 or 5 years of testing these on-farm measurements. And so those who are entering the on-farm network this coming year, you're coming into a very seasoned set of protocols and data flow team. Our education team is creatively developing transformative curriculum that will be an important contribution to training next generation scientists. They've been meeting very actively and generating some great content. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from them today. And lastly, the extension committee led by Heather is up and running and uniting the cover crop councils, activities, and bringing a lot of innovation into our outreach efforts. So just very excited about what's going on as a whole across the whole team. You'll get that kind of more in-depth view throughout the day. So I'm going to take a brief moment to describe what we see as the novel culture of PSA, right? What is unique about what we are trying to do here? We all know that we're trying to merge precision and sustainable agriculture. And this is a really knowledge-intensive, thing to do, right? It requires transformative ways to build that knowledge of how to link up climate, soil, and management so that we can, rapidly and accelerate, crop production, and resiliency and sustainability in our systems. the historical approach to doing science where, we've got these 2-3 year graduate degrees where these students are operating in a bubble, the science is not connecting. Certainly that has been an effective way to do science, but it's been a very slow march towards progress, right? You can have the wettest year and the driest year in recorded history at your site, in Maryland, and you could do a 2-year master's project testing a couple of factors at a couple of different factor levels, and your results are inconclusive because you can't make, recommendations or conclusions around those results because of big variations in climate per year to year, or a whole host of other logistical factors. And so the literature is just like rich with a lot of inconclusive studies, right? Just a lot of papers that said, well, we think this happened, we think that happened, but we're not really sure, and the results are inconclusive. And it's just incredibly dissatisfying. And while we're going to obviously continue that model of science, breaking down these data silos, putting our data together, working in coordinated science networks is really the future to just rapidly accelerate the science. And that's what PSA is all about. And so, busting those bubbles open and linking up the responses of climate and soil. So just excited to be part of a team that shares that vision. Looking forward to ongoing success in that area. In addition, we've been really hyper-focused, not just around this, real to near real-time data acquisition and aggregation, but also around developing, some of the same principles for communication across the network. So let's advance the slide here. Yeah. So, as you can see, we've developed this intranet site, a portal for all of you to onboard. And this has been just a tremendous effort. It's rapidly expanding. If you have not visited this portal, get your butt in there. This thing is an awesome product. You're going to be seeing it all throughout the day. Speakers are going to be referencing the portal and how to access information. But this is how we standardize our protocols and have access them in real time. We have calendar options. We have the ability for you to see the organizational structure of the team, to find out the contacts of the different folks involved in the team. So please spend time in there. We've also been working feverishly to make sure all of our data and data analysis is transparent and publicly available. So we have a lot of that going up on GitHub. So just really excited about not just this real-time data collection, but really creating, the kind of communication networks that we need to support that. As many of you heard us talk about in the past, I'm sorry, advance the slide one more time. Yeah, that was my other cue. So there you can see where you can find, PSA directors and core, the staff, PSA team leads, we have contact information. So anyway, you can get in there on your own time. So let's advance the slide one more time. So many of you heard us talk about in the past, some of the networks that are connected, right? We've been an expanding team, PSA as a whole. I've talked to you about the connectivity to the national cover crop breeding team and that we hope to see synergies develop with that group over time with new germplasm that is coming online soon. There's also a lot of overlap with the GROW team, which is a national herbicide resistant weed management team focused on IWM. There's already lots of cross cultivation across activities in those two programs and bringing solutions into our network. So we've been very motivated around PSA not just being a single grant, right? That we are transforming how we do science and can establish a lasting network of coordinated science with an emphasis on continued on-farm monitoring. I think while we hope to see common experiments come and go and continue, really we hope that the heart of our connection is around these on-farm monitoring networks, where we can support a pipeline of innovation with beta testing new technologies developed by our team as well as with other public and private partners. We've already managed to take a 4-year-old on-farm network and sustain it, and now we've got another 5 years of funding, so you can see that we're already creating that kind of continuum. As you all know, one of the roles that I've been playing with many of you is really actively fundraising on the last couple of years to just continue to sustain this effort and expand it and grow it, right? So we've been, fundraising to improve the cyber infrastructure, bring in new technologies, and most importantly, continue to expand that on-farm network so we can get more spatial assessments of, climate, soil, and management. I'm pleased to announce that we have already been very successful on a number of fronts. So can we advance the slide? We have a lot of new partners that have been joining this team in the last couple of years. And so here's just some of those. We've made great progress in innovating around automating the biomass estimation with sensing technologies. Further, we can now call the Soil Health Partnership, Practical Farmers of Iowa, International Farming Corporation, and Indigo Ag as partners to our network, as partners that we've expanded anywhere between about 30 to 40 farms in their private on-farm networks, and bringing our IoT systems into their systems and collaborating around data sharing for DST development. So just, really exciting. So we'll continue that fundraising effort. We've submitted numerous grants this year. We'll continue to do that, eager to expand our partners and facilitate other expanded slices within PSA. So, we encourage you all to leverage this infrastructure, whether possible, to add value, build insights. We encourage all of you to take a leadership role where you see fit as it aligns with your passion. So any way that I can help you and support those goals, just let me know. Now we'll transition to Chris.
Great. All right, thanks, Stephen. So I just wanted to spotlight a couple things that you're going to be hearing about today, because I think sometimes the messages can get, you'll hear a lot about technology that we're using to aid in your collaboration. And, we're not doing this for technology's sake or to look cool. We're really trying to transform the way we collaborate. Like Stephen mentioned, this is not the way in which ag has generally been done. We've generally worked in these tight little bubbles. Our students might disappear for a few years from a group project. Many of us, I know I've been involved in many multi-institution projects over the years, but that doesn't mean that our collaboration was all that tightly linked. And so we're really trying to make this a much tighter collaboration. We think the science that we're doing demands it, but we also just think we're trying to establish this culture of being able to do this. And so I want you to, while we're talking about the technologies for collaboration today, think about the human element of this as well, because we can use all the technology in the world, and that doesn't mean we're going to get collaboration. It requires a shift in our thinking and in the way we conduct ourselves. A couple points that I think about when I think about the cultural aspects of this. One is that how do we maintain data quality across this size of network? Even when we've been operating this year with a smaller network, our database has got over 1 million rows in it now. So the size of the data we're acquiring is just becoming massive. How do we make sure each one of those data points is a quality data point? Well, that's a collective responsibility for all of us. We're going to be using a lot of automated tools to help keep that data clean. You're going to hear about how we assign out roles. We have a title of data shepherds, and those data shepherds are there to assist you in maintaining that data integrity. But it also then is a collective responsibility of all of us. Another key point you'll hear a lot about today is transparency of how we work. These tools are really engineered so that we can let our collaborators within our teams across the larger network, when we're ready, know about what we're doing. And so we're doing that from everything from meeting structure and meeting notes, and to how we're using simple tools like Google Docs, up to very sophisticated tools as people start engaging with the data. Is we provide tutorials. There's some excellent tutorials on YouTube that you may have seen already from Brian Davis about how to access our data in a live mode. We'll be rolling out this year a complete environment so that your students, postdocs, yourself can have live access to the data, and you can write from your browser in any of the languages that we typically use. So we're going to be supporting R, SAS, and Python for you to be able to see the data, analyze the data, and get what you need done. You're going to hear today about data privacy. Sometimes this transparency can seem like it's juxtaposed to data privacy, but we have data privacy values and obligations to our growers to make sure that their individual data isn't released. And so that tension between how do we let other folks in our network know what we're doing and yet maintain the integrity and the privacy of that individual grower data. And you'll hear a lot about that from Ankita today. Trust within this network. So all of this does require a high level of trust across us. And so at every step, we've been trying to establish what does that look like? How do we establish those trust relationships amongst this large of a team? We'll be reminding you today about the publications agreement. I think that's an excellent example of how we're using trust in this team, and you can see, what everybody expects from each other in terms of going to publication, and how we make sure that everybody's needs are very real needs for their careers are being met through that publications agreement. And finally, just an assurance. We don't want this to feel overwhelming. Sometimes it can be. There's a lot here that you're going to hear about today. But just remember that you have a huge team here to support you. So everything you're going to hear today is going to be on the team portal. We are working very hard to make sure whenever you're in the team portal, you know that you have somebody to call for each and every team that you're a part of. Oh, okay, it's clear, I'm confused. Who is it that I should email? Who is it that I should call to ask questions about this? We're gonna be, for those of you on the on-farm, we're gonna have like a 1-800 hotline number for you. So when you're in the field, you have a constant level of support. All the technology in the world doesn't get around the need to pick up the phone and call and talk to somebody at times. And so just please, every effort is made at being able to make this a two-way communication. And so just know that we want you to engage, and we're leaving it from comment fields to phone numbers to everything a way for you to dialogue with the support team. All right, before we launch the next one, I wanted to just spotlight somebody very key right now to you all. I believe we have almost all of our contracts done. There's just a couple things that are remaining of a couple institutions, but Carlos is our lead financials and business person for the group, and just wanted to put a face to the email streams that many of you have gotten.
Good morning.
Yay, Carlos.
It's great to see everybody virtually and meet you all. I know I've exchanged emails with probably the majority of you by now. Like Chris said, we're in very good shape in setting up, most of the contracts. Right now, we're just waiting on a few approvals from NIFA so that we can move forward. But we're very excited about, all the things and actually how responsive NIFA has been with, with their move and everything. So I think we're in really good shape, for most of you all to start, working on this as you see fit. One important thing that we did want to transmit to everybody is if your brain is organized in a sense of, I have a budget for a specific year that I have to use, think of this, as a 5-year project, and then manage that money the best way that you see fit for what you're trying to accomplish, right? So don't be held up by, thinking I can only do this year by year. If you, need a little bit more, a year and a half, and then, do too much better in 6 months, that's absolutely fine. And again, any questions or any guidance that we can provide to you all, we're happy to do it.